So let's talk about the other town in the room, huh? Welcome back, ancient fans of Lego. You ever seen this set? Well, trick question, because it's not a set. It is my own creation that I made, and it's been well over a year now, so it does have a fine layer of dust, but it just adds to the effect. It is the blacksmith shop, and this is one of my more favorite minifigures. This is kind of... we'll talk about it, but... he's, the body is much more recent than the head, but the head I got in a used lot of minifigure parts and bricks and such. And it's got that stain, and it just doesn't wipe off. If I had to guess, it's some kind of paint or something. He's also got a little mark on his chin. You see that under there? So he's had a rough life, this minifigure. But I think this outfit, it's a little bit of a dirty kind of kimono or robe. I believe it's from the Ninjago movie. And then the hat just kind of fits in very nicely with it and gives it... In the shadow, you don't notice the scar, which is like... that's perfect, right? So this is the Carpenter. He's never had a name. He's just the mysterious Carpenter. But of course, he does have a carpenter's house. Now, I will say is that Parish, the other town, was meant to be on 4 gray base plates. So that's 48 by 48 times 4. 2 in each direction. Anyways, it's the area. But each lot was going to be a 16 by 16 with road in between. And there was also some water on one side and then walls on the 3 others. So this actually would butt up against a wall. So it would be a walled city. And Margaritaville definitely is not a walled city. But I think that this style of house would fit nicely enough in it. The yellow here is all bits of wood. In the classic style, I don't know what color wood would be. We did use some brown and then dark brown in the barrel, as well as a couple different grays. This is a silver pearl, silver hatchet cleaver. And then I've got the hand axe, which I think is appropriate for the Carpenter. I don't know what other tools to give him necessarily, but it's fun. It's a pretty simple house. It is a flat roof style house, and those are somewhat common in classic sets. You might have a little bit of a slope or something. I did give it some stack of 2x4s to just kind of build up a nice shape to it. From the front, I think it has a nice look. From the top even, it looks fun. I also have a random brick there. I had 4 black bricks at the time. I probably could use that for something else, but at this point, it's part of the building. The design of the building is very simple. It's a red building with a black stripe low. And that's, again, fairly typical, I'd say, for a classic town kind of building. Now, the one thing that does make it feel more medieval castle fantasy is the arch and the doorway, the kind of barred door and then just an open archway does lend a bit of a more primitive feel to it. So I think that that's nice. Let's go around back and look inside of the house. I think that, this man has it all. So here on the end table, he has a little piece of mail from someone, perhaps a clue to his backstory. He has a little cup, and he has some cornflakes. Now, the cup is made of yellow, which would be wood, and being a carpenter, I assume that he would be able to whittle his own wooden cups. I do have brown for cups, which is an unreleased color that I did buy off Bricklink, and I believe them to be authentic. But the thought here is, again, is that in classic Lego, yellow could definitely represent wood. You could kind of go with whatever you wanted for your colors. A red tree trunk wouldn't be that out of place, and a yellow one wouldn't either before brown was terribly common. So cornflakes for a little bit of food in his house. And then back there is a bed. The bed's a pretty simple design. It's a 2x4 brick, 4 plates and 4 tiles and a plate. and I used a set of 3 pink and 2 green. Those aren't going to be classic colors, but I think pink is just a very good bed color, and he can lay on it if he cares to or not. And then we also have 1 stool, and that's just a 2x2 brick. Now, if you wanted to, you could set up a little scene in the front using a couple of different size bricks running around, and that's also a 2x2 brick. So you could set up some kind of where he's out in the front working, perhaps. Got some of the pieces. We've got some little shavings here, just little pieces of yellow that you could scatter around and kind of just make into a little scene, like he's been working, chopping some different pieces of wood apart. There's also some more 2x2s and a 2x2 plate even, so you can get very wild with the imagination there, like he's splitting some wood, doing some woodwork. Oops, it's a little low, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. You just scatter around some wood shavings. It looks like he's perhaps taking off from a bigger piece, splitting that in half, splitting it into another small piece. It's just, I think it creates a good amount of decoration for the scene with just a few basic pieces, really. The barrel is an older piece. It's a little modern for this, and especially in the dark brown color, but I think that it adds, like I said. So the final couple play features, not really play features, but details, let's go with details, is that the roof comes off fairly easily because it's on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there is a red plate on the roof that does cover the doorway. But I use tiles along the top there, and just very easy to remove the roof so that I can get in and pose. There's not a whole lot of need to, because again, this isn't the more doll style house where you've got an open back, but if I had this in here, and perhaps I want him to be with his little hand axe. Maybe I'll give him a knife so that he could do some whittling. But he's got his hand axe in his hand, and he's gonna have just a little piece of wood that he's kind of whittling on. So I can very easily just get inside and push down one leg, get it right on there, and then just put the roof back on. There we are. And now we have him inside there, just making a little piece of wooden, I don't know, maybe he's making a cup. I'd assume a 1x2 brick could make a cup if you whittled it down in Lego World. So it's a nice little thing. The other thing that I was going to mention, oops, we lost him, Mysterious Carpenter, is that the door does open. It is on hinges there, and it can swing open and closed. It technically has a little bit of a hard time going past there, but it does it, so I'm happy with it. If you wanted to pose with the door open, to have some kind of scene where he's maybe come to the door to greet a potential customer that's come in the middle of the night, say, "Oh, Mr. Carpenter, would you please make me a set of wooden chairs for my house?" You could pose him in the doorway and again just snap the roof in place. There you go. He looks very nice that he's stepped out into the darkness. So if you are a member, or if you've seen a member post, the PLC Exist emote for the members is this Carpenter's smiling face. And I think that one of the philosophies I wanted to go for with my original town parish, and I will continue into Margaritaville, of course, is that I want these minifigures, they've had hard lives. There's been wars as long as they've lived. There's been, all kinds of terrible things going on in their minifigure lives. But maybe now everything can just get, nice and peaceful, and they can live a relaxing life that they've always dreamed of. And I don't know what that means for all of them, but this minifigure I feel like has definitely had a hard life and deserves to retire, study his craft, And maybe, just maybe, he'll be able to get that rest that he deserves. So there you have it. One of the buildings for Parish that I'm very much debating on putting into Margaritaville. Of course, it would need a rebase, and I don't think I can really redesign it. It's as wide as the inn base floor, but it's not as tall, which is a mediocre waste of space, I will say. But I think he's really, really going to have a good life in his new woodsmith shop, the Carpenter shop. And maybe I could set him up a little stall here so that he has a little bit of some kind of wares on display for passerbys to notice. So anyways, I think that'll be the video for today. I will be doing some more videos with the older buildings. Some are, well, one other is finished and 2 other are in progress. So 2 and 2. It's not terribly good progress considering I have 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings if you're counting the guard shack, plus the graveyard and the bridge. So we're looking at 6 bases for Margaritaville, and I only got 2 and 2 halves. So anyways, automatic video. Subscribe, and then over wherever is a video that I do handpick for you. It's going to be probably a Margaritaville town update video if you've already seen that. Well, thank you.